Okay, everyone. Hello. If you're seeing this, it's past my published date, which is, that's my bad. I didn't publish this Monday. And the truth is, I had a pretty crazy Easter. First off, happy Easter, if you celebrate. Leading up to Easter, there's a lot of readings, there's a lot of fasting, and there's a lot of like church going. So, with what's been going on with my life, work, the extra things I'm trying to do, this channel, and with some of my more spiritual responsibilities, things just got a little bit crazy. So, here I am, just getting back on the wagon. Wishing you guys a happy Easter. And kind of recalibrating. Recalibration is a good word. Recalibration is a good word. First and foremost, I'm not thrilled to be doing this late. I give myself grace because life does happen. But I started breaking out hardcore, and that is like so very obvious to the camera. My last like 2 days of Easter, which was I think Thursday night till Sunday at midnight mass. I go to midnight mass, which is like a 12 a.m. service on Sunday to celebrate Christ's ascension, the defeat over death. But during those 2 days or so, I was like on a very strict fast. No food, no water, no anything. I did give myself 1 cup of water each day just so I could take my prescription. But that's pretty much about it. And that was just preparing me to receive the Eucharist, the bread and body of Christ. And I don't know. I do that because I want to humble myself. It's not about me. I want to like strip everything that I rely on and come into it with the right intention, with the right respect, that I believe this process, this mystic process offers. So that's kind of my rationale between it, or my rationale of it. But the first thing I did after I broke that fast, first thing I did after that church service was I went to like 3 McDonald's, which were all closed, and then I ended up at a Subway nearby that's open like literally 24/7. So at 3 in the morning, I broke my fast with a foot-long like sandwich, and I like loaded it. So it wasn't anything light. I had a Dr. Pepper, I had candy, I had all this shit. So I pretty much like shocked my system with a fucking sandwich, with sugar, with everything I could throw at it. And then that morning I had a Christmas lunch at my aunt's house, which was really nice because I got to spend time with a part of my family that they're not in Syracuse and they don't show up a lot. So it was really cool to connect with them. But we had a great Easter lunch. And I pretty much put myself into a food coma then too. So my body in a 24-hour period was like trying to figure out what the fuck was happening. So naturally, I had a whitehead pop up, and not a fan of those. But it's not about whiteheads. It's about what's been going on with my life, and I'm sad to kind of see that Easter part of the season go. And in my opinion, not only is it a time for purging everything that I'm not, but it's about coming into my own, coming into a more aligned and congruent part of me, just in time for spring, where things are blossoming, where winter is dead. So you have this parallels between the seasons and between the spiritual or religious Christian narrative of Easter. So you see death and rebirth, and we just left seasonally a season of death to come into rebirth. And so I take this time very seriously. That's why I do the spiritual stuff as much as I can, or as dedicated as I can, because I see this as an opportunity to come into a newer version of myself, and into the spring season. And I don't know if it's just me, but are you guys feeling the energy in the air? Like, things are going, things are speeding up, things are popping into alignment. And it's been really cool. You're probably noticing how shitty my room looks like. I recognize that I've been doing all of this, like, purging, like, physically and mentally, maybe, with some of the meditations I've been doing, and trying to, like, block my dating apps and my social media. I recognize I didn't really do that physically, though. Like, not physically in my body with the fasting, but physically, like, in my space, which is equally as important. I usually try to do, like, a spring cleaning during that Easter, but things got a little bit crazy, and I decided to start pulling shit now. So my room is, like, packed with clothes, my brother's clothes, my clothes, all of this shit that I hardly even touch anymore. So I'm going to spend the next week going through clothes, books, papers, miscellaneous stuff, like hobby stuff, anything else I've got around the house, and then I'll end it with sentimental stuff. And what I'll do, I don't know if you guys have heard of Marie Kondo. I like go through the KonMari method at least once a year, or at least I try to. So I'll purge all the clothes that I need or that I don't need anymore. Anything that doesn't bring me joy, anything that's not aligned with who I am or who I'm becoming. I get rid of all the books, same thing. It's hard for me to throw away books, so I might throw away one or two things, but I usually try to keep all my books. Paperwork, and again, the hobby stuff, miscellaneous stuff around the house, and then I'll end with sentimental. Usually, if you can do, the first 3-4 of those, the sentimental stuff, throwing away those it's a little bit easier. And that's the stuff that carries more of the emotional weight. So I'm going to take the next week and a half maybe, to go through that process, try to purge my surroundings, clean that up, because I feel like I'm moving into, again, the new season, a new version of me, a new opportunity to blossom into someone that I want to become. And again, someone that's more aligned with who I am. And I'm excited about that stuff. Emptying myself out, purging everything that I am not, to come into something that, it's not even like this isn't like a process of addition. I'm not adding anything. I'm not adding habits. I'm not doing something to become. I'm stripping everything that is not. This is a negative process. This is a subtraction process. Just take away everything I'm not. Take away everything that doesn't belong anymore. Clear that space out, because I believe I'm whole as I am. I believe I'm good as I am. There's nothing inherently wrong with me. The issues I have is when I do things out of alignment with myself, or I do things that have been a projection or a conditioning of other people or family or friends. So a lot of this process is just getting rid of things I'm not. And again, part of that is just like clothes, books, paperwork that, like, it's not me anymore. Throw it out, make space in my life. And if I keep it, store it in a good spot and move on. And again, I try to do that once a year. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about coming into spring, because I've been able to run a little bit more. And I'm excited for a newer direction I'm heading. I've been talking a lot about this ClickFunnels course, and it's amazing, and I do commit to finishing it. However, I recognize within the past, like, week and a half, that I've been ignoring a deeper calling, and creating that kind of freedom for me through ClickFunnels and through business is important, because I do want to get the fuck out of my business. And it's important too because I want to help other people reach a level of freedom too in their businesses. But I realize that the thing that's more fulfilling for me is more of like the emotional liberation that I can help people with. I might have mentioned a few of my friends. I might have mentioned my brother. I might have mentioned Dean. You know, being able to hold space for them, and for them to unearth some of their thoughts and emotions, untangle some of those thoughts and emotions so that they're left with a level of catharsis, with a level of release, and with a level of clarity, so they know what they're doing in their life. That's very deeply fulfilling for me. And I might have mentioned having a Tony Robbins affiliated coaching course. It's called Core 100. It's by Robbins Mandana's training. And I bought this shit like 3 or 4 years ago. I spent $3,000 on it. And I have not touched it since. And the truth of the matter is, like, I'm afraid. I'm afraid to go through that. I understand that I have inherent gifts in being able to read people. I have inherent gifts in being able to hold space, to be able to label and reflect other people's emotions and the things that they're going through. And I have an amazing gift of opening people up. I mean, I see that not only in my social life, when I'm out or when I'm at a wedding or whatever, but in my job too, because I am in a sales position. And so much of my job is opening people up, earning trust, you know, seeing them where they're at. And so I've been avoiding this deeper calling of, you know, not just the business stuff, but more of like the coaching stuff, developing this skill set. Because right now, I guess this is really coming up because I was asking myself, how can I get out of my job? I'm grateful for my job. I've made more than I've ever made in my life with this job, but it's not aligned with who I am. I want to get out. I can't do the 9 to 5. It crushes me. That sounds dramatic. And again, I really am grateful for where I'm at, but it's tough. And if I do the ClickFunnels course is 200 fucking hours, and I'm 7% of the way in. I'm not even done with the welcome module. I think I have like an hour and a half of that. So the way that I'm thinking about it, you know, I'm a perfectionist, a recovering perfectionist. I'm going to do that entire course. I'm going to go through the work. I'm going to go through all of that. And then when that's done, I'm going to want to prove myself that I can help monetize people's businesses. You know, in that process, I'm going to do free work at first. I'm not just going to start charging people money for something I've never done before. You know, there's a level of integrity that I completely believe in, and I'm not going to charge something for things I haven't done myself. I see coaches and I see businesses and services that do that, and I see that online, and I just cannot. It's wrong. You know, I see that, and like, that's, if I ever create another business, I can't do it from that space. You know, I'd rather earn people's trust if it takes me years, that's fine. Or if it takes me a long time, or if it's costly to me, I'd rather earn that trust through the actual work than trying to earn it through really good marketing or branding or something like that. But the way I'm thinking about it's like that. The ClickFunnels course is 200 plus hours to complete. I'm going to have at least 5. I'm going to want to implement this with at least 5 businesses of my friends or families, just to prove that it works. And I'm thinking it's like, once I complete 5 free cases and complete that course, it's going to be like maybe a year and a half to 2 years before I can even think about getting out of my job. And I think the first thing I said in the first video or two is like, I want to get out of my job. I want to reclaim my time again. And I was asking myself, how can I do that? And then naturally I thought about this Core 100 course. I thought about this skill set that I'm almost hesitant or afraid of diving into. But I'm starting to think that that's where I really need to be spending my time on, is going through that course, developing the skill set that I have a natural talent in, and starting to sharpen that. Not only is it more fulfilling to me, but I believe that it can get me out of my current situation, my current job, faster. I can monetize that faster. And to me, for me to reclaim my time like that and to dive into the things that are more important to me, which is that skill set, which is helping people, which is holding space, and which is, documenting this process, it's going to be more fulfilling to me. I'm going to be living even more in alignment. And after this past Easter, it's like, that's what I'm trying to do with my life. Live more in line with who I am and what I want to do and how I want to help. So I'm going to take some time. What I've decided is that I'm going to take some time prepare myself. So clear out the space, do this KonMari method, get rid of all the shit around me that really doesn't add to my life. And then I'm going to start going gung-ho on my Core 100 course. I'm going to do at least 30 to 60 minutes a day before or after work, no matter what. And I will document that process once it starts. So the way that I'm seeing it is I will have a normal weekly update, like a normal video journal, the way that we're doing it now. And that will be released every Monday. And then I will probably also have a second video that comes up every week. And that will be just documenting my journey on Core 100 and going through that experience. Because that's going to allow me not only to share what's been going on in my life in a different way, but it'll share what I'm learning professionally, and it also help me like verbalize and work with the ideas that I'm learning on a weekly basis. I watch the videos, I take notes, I'm like really adamant about that kind of stuff. But this would be like another layer of like soaking it in, There's one thing learning it, there's another thing teaching it and like talking about it. So I think it would be really cool for me to document that process and kind of teach you guys, or at least share what I'm learning throughout that course. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm scared, honestly. I've been ignoring that because there's a part of me that believes like that really is my calling. Wow. I've been having almonds this morning and they're doing something in my stomach. Actually, everything's been doing everything in my stomach right now. But yeah, I'm afraid that this is my calling. I'm afraid that by going through this course, by graduating this course, I'm going to start identifying as a coach and as someone that helps people in this space. And I want to do it right. I want to do it right. I want to do it with integrity because, again, you see so many fucking people on Instagram and YouTube and, Facebook ads, and, they're calling themselves coaches. And it's like, that word is so like sorry, I got eye boogers. That word's so loaded. It's so overused. Oh, I'm a coach. I'm a this. I'm a life coach. It's like, that's so lame. It loses, like, nobody knows what the fuck a coach is, So yeah, no one knows what a coach is. It's so like woo-woo that I hope that by doing this work, I can not only communicate what the value propositions are, but what people gain from working with me. Being able to communicate what I offer and not just say, oh, I'm a coach, Actually, I want to avoid that title. Like, I completely want to avoid that title. What I want to be focusing on are results. What kind of results or what kind of outcomes can I help people with? Because really what I'm more interested in is not so much me being a coach, but me helping people break through their own limitations. Me helping people or guiding people through their own thoughts and emotions so that they can reach a level of catharsis, so they can, have a greater understanding or context of their own life, and a greater meaning of their life, something that's going to push them to the next season in their life. That's important to me. I mean, this is the work that I've done on myself through journaling and, hopefully through this process too. It's like, man, if I didn't take the time to communicate with myself, to create like a third party through writing, and see myself in a different way, it would have been really hard to recontextualize my life and my feelings and my thoughts and what I was going through. And I completely believe that like so much of life is meaning, what we attach meaning to, the good and the bad. And so as I kept writing in my journal, I was able to contextualize myself in my life. I was able to understand the greater meaning and depth of what was happening to me, or what I assumed was happening to me, or what I just thought and felt. And that new meaning that I created, or that I discovered or recognized, it would help push me to get to the next level. It would help ground me. It would help, making it not so much about life happening to me, but life happening for me. I could use it. And that's the kind of work I want to help other people with. I mean, it's the kind of shit that like draws me to Tony Robbins. That's why I bought the course, because his name was attached, and I have a deep respect for the kind of work he does. So, I love ClickFunnels. I will go through it. I was excited to start sharing on that journey, but I'm definitely going to be pivoting to Core 100 and sharing that. That's probably like a 3 to 4, 5 at the most month project. So if you guys have been enjoying this so far, that's what's to come. So I'm excited. I'm again a little bit nervous, but I know this is all going to be for me. I know that I'm in the right spot because I am a little bit nervous and I'm a little bit anxious. So yeah, wish me luck. So I'm grateful for everyone that has been following. I know I've been getting a lot more comments than usual. It's always appreciated. Even if I don't message back in a timely manner, it's nice to know that I'm not on this journey by myself, and that there are some people that are watching and just, ride or dies, I guess, just being here and holding space for me to do this. It's been just very positive, and I'm really grateful for anyone that's been watching and anyone that's been relating. If you haven't, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. I'd love to connect with people that are like-minded or see themselves in this kind of journey. Hopefully I can kind of create a community where people that respect this level of vulnerability and honesty and authenticity can kind of come together. I think that'd be really cool, especially on platforms where so much is flash and so much is just performance-based. I kind of want to anchor more of like the deeper, more vulnerable, real stuff on platforms like this. So comment, like, subscribe, do whatever, and appreciate all you guys. Appreciate myself for doing this. And until next time, bye guys.